Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so you handed us a classic RC rivalry to dig into, one that goes way back. Tamiya Frog versus Hornet. Today we're looking at their modern kids, the Neo Frog, that's the DT-03 chassis, going up against the new Hornet EVO.
And we kind of have to start with the history, don't we? Because, let's be honest, the original 83 Frog, it was, well, engineered on a different level. You have the space frame, proper oil dampers, independent rear suspension. I mean, it pretty much always smoked the 84 Hornet with its simple, solid axle and friction shocks.
Yeah, no contest back then. The Frog was the racer. So the big question for this deep dive then is, does that Frog DNA, the DT-03, still hold up? Does it still have that performance advantage over this new Hornet?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. Based on the specs, the blueprints you sent over, it's not quite a straightforward comparison of the platforms we thought we were comparing. There's a bit of an engineering twist here.
Okay, what kind of twist?
The Hornet EVO. It's sort of a bait and switch almost. Tamiya kept that iconic Hornet look, the body shell everyone remembers. But underneath, they didn't just tweak the old Hornet design. They basically slapped the entire suspension and drivetrain from their DT-02 chassis onto it.
Wait, hang on. So you're saying this anniversary Hornet EVO isn't really a modern Hornet design underneath? It's actually using the guts of the older but proven DT-02 platform. How'd you pin that down?
Yeah, exactly. It's wearing a Hornet costume. The parts list gives it away. You look close, and it specifically calls out part numbers, like A parts tree 58344, that are pure DT-02. So the real contest here isn't Neo Frog versus some new Hornet tech. It's DT-03 versus DT-02. That's the core of this whole modern rivalry.
Okay, wow. That definitely changes things. So let's talk value then. Looking at street prices, the Neo Frog seems a bit cheaper, right? Like $150 versus maybe $166 for the EVO. So advantage DT-03 on price.
Not so fast. That initial price tag, it's kind of deceptive because the Hornet EVO, the DT-02 based one, it comes standard with some really key performance parts. We're talking full ball bearings throughout the drivetrain and, crucially, CVA oil-filled dampers, proper shocks.
Okay, so the Neo Frog saves you maybe $15-20 up front, but what's missing from that box compared to the EVO?
You're missing the stuff you'd want to buy almost immediately for decent performance. You get plastic bushings instead of bearings in the DT-03 kit and just basic friction dampers, not the tunable oil shocks. To get the Neo Frog up to the same baseline as the out-of-the-box EVO, you're looking at, about $42 in official Tamiya hop-up parts, bearings, and those CVA shocks.
Oh, okay. So suddenly that cheaper Neo Frog actually costs more to get it to the same starting line as the EVO.
Exactly. The Hornet EVO is easily the better value package right out of the box. Much more cost-effective. If you want decent performance without immediate upgrades.
All right, value goes to the EVO. Now, handling. This is where it gets really interesting based on the sources. The DT-03 chassis, the Neo Frog, it's got that long wheelbase, 287 millimeters.
Yeah.
Great for going straight, stable. Good for beginners, maybe. But the reviews are kind of harsh on its cornering. I think one source literally said it understeers like a pig when you get on the power.
Yeah, that long wheelbase gives it stability, but it really resists turning under power. It just wants to push straight. Now contrast that with the Hornet EVO running that DT-02 geometry. It's got a shorter wheelbase, around 260 millimeters. That makes it much more agile, quicker to turn in. It just feels, more responsive, more lively. Experienced drivers tend to prefer that.
And what about durability? We're talking about entry-level buggies. They're going to get bashed around.
Right. And that's another win for the EVO, really. The DT-02 platform is known for being pretty tough. It's kind of the trusty grab-and-go car for a lot of people. Solid, reliable. The DT-03, it has a bit of a reputation. Specifically, the front shock towers and even the chassis tub near the front can be weak points. Hard landings can lead to breaks. You often see people recommending chassis braces or other hop-ups pretty quickly if you plan on driving it hard.
Okay, so let's recap. The Hornet EVO, based on the DT-02, takes the win on out-of-the-box value. It's more agile in the corners, and it's generally considered more durable. The Neo Frog, the DT-03, really only wins on that straight-line stability, which might appeal more to absolute beginners.
Yeah, that's basically it. The verdict seems pretty clear. The Hornet EVO is the modern winner here. To me, it did something clever, blending that nostalgia, that iconic look with the proven, tougher, more agile DT-02 platform.
So the roles are completely flipped from the 80s.
Exactly. The Frog lineage, the DT-03, is now kind of the stable, maybe slightly basic entry point, like the original Hornet was. And the Hornet EVO, ironically, is now the superior performance platform out of the box, filling the role the original Frog used to have. It's a total inversion.
A fascinating turnaround. So here's something for you, the listener. to think about that. Both the DT-02 and the DT-03 have huge ecosystems of hop-up parts available.
Yeah.
You can upgrade either one extensively. So thinking long-term, which basic design philosophy do you think Tamiya will lean towards for future entry-level 2WD buggies? Will it be the long wheelbase stability of the DT-03 or the short wheelbase agility inherited by the EDO from the DT-02? Which approach has the edge going forward?